What's up everybody, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Sew Yeah unboxing experience, where we open up some of the most amazing sewing machines and accessories that this industry has to offer and let you know kind of what to expect here. Now, if you haven't watched episode 1, you can go ahead and click right up there where we reviewed the Juki 2010. But in this video, we are going to do a unboxing of the Bernina 480. And this is one of those machines. This is like probably Bernina's in the top 5 best-selling machines in the last couple of years for sure. It's just an absolutely phenomenal machine, and I'm super excited to show it to you. And I've got it right here next to me. So what I'm going to do, Bernina boxes are a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and just take all the stuff out of the box and lay it out onto the table. Let's do that. Looks like some user manuals, extension table, knee lift. That's a big plus there for me. Now, Bernina's are packed so extremely well. Like, this is just to hold what you just saw me pull out of the box. That's just this one piece of styrofoam here. Then let's keep going down. We got some more accessories here. This is called Barbie box. We're gonna get into that here in 1 second. Package of feet, accessories, power cord, that's what that looks like. Bernina signature comes with a pack of needles and comes with a little bit of thread there. Next piece of styrofoam. Oh, it's got something in there. Pull that out. Okay, getting down here to the center. There's the actual machine itself. And one less foot there. So here it is, Bernina 480. And I'm gonna start going over a couple features, things that you have to know about the machine, things like that. Just got a film over the screen here, so I hope it's not casting a glare for you guys. That way it just doesn't get scratched or anything like that. There's a couple of things though that I have pre-done as I went through this machine a little bit on my own here, which is I took off the presser foot holder here. Normally when a Bernina comes, this will be hooked on just like so. I've already gone ahead and taken that off. And then I've already taken off a couple of the plastics, just that way you don't have to watch me do that. But let's just set the machine to the side and go over the accessories first of what comes in the box with the machine. Then we'll go over the entirety of the machine itself. So first couple of things here right out the gate. Bernina all come with a slide on table. Pretty simple, pretty standard here, and they click right into place. Super simple there. We're gonna just leave that there for the time being. This is the Bernina dust cover. So can you travel with this? Yeah, you can. Let me open this up real quick. Can you travel with this? Yeah, you can, but would I travel with this? Probably not. Simple machine dust cover, has places to put pressure foot, all that kind of stuff. I've actually never used one of these. We're in a very creative world. Make your own dust cover for your machine. That's my opinion on it, or use the one that comes in the box there. Now, power cord, not gonna get into that. Foot control. Berninas have a very different style foot control here. Now, a little bit heavier of a foot control. Cord winds on the back and then clips into place. That way your cord always stays out of your way. Now, the thing with the Bernina foot control is just like we saw in our last episode there. If you push down on the pedal, down means go, but it does have that heel click feature, which I'm going to be showing you here in just 1 second. But as far as foot controls go, I think Bernina has one of the best. Heavier duty, in my opinion, just feels heavier, and it has a really nice grip right here on the front, along with grips on the back. I find that they don't tend to slide as much as other foot controls, especially if you're on like hardwoods or a linoleum or a tile. These things have been absolutely awesome. one thing, I always tell people be careful with these foot controls for a Bernina. One like this is like $150-ish due to that heel click feature, so make sure you take care of them. They'll last a lifetime as long as you're not throwing them and doing crazy things with them. Next thing, we're going to go into kind of the feet in the box. So, as far as the feet in the box, the #1 Bernina foot, that's what it's called, #1 foot, comes on the machine. Now, I have to mention this at the very beginning of the video here, is that this is a 9mm machine, meaning that all of its feet can go up to 9mm. #1 is your general foot, like your normal foot, like it does your zigzag, it can do your straight and all that. It's not a 1/4 inch foot. I would just call this the general sewing foot. It can do most of your decorative designs. This foot is not designed, however, to do satin stitches, so just be mindful of that while you're using this foot. Really, zigzag, straight stitch, that's what that foot is for. You can also go ahead and additionally with your machine pick yourself up a 1/4 inch foot, which helps a lot with sewing quilts. So that's the #1 foot. Next one is, let's just jump right here to the #4 foot. Now, the #4 foot is your zipper foot. Great for putting zippers in. Not going to go too complex into that one. Then from there, this is your open-toed foot. This is phenomenal for like your satin stitches, your really dense decorative stitches, those kinds of things. It's nice to have that right in the box. The stitch in the ditch foot means that it's got a little wire that runs through the middle of the foot. That way you can put it right inside the ditch of your seams, or if you need to like have a guide, this is a wonderful foot to use, and it's right down the middle. That is the #5 foot. 2A, they can be used a lot of different ways. This is a rolled hem foot. I can't say I've used this one too much in life, but it's there as an option. Lastly is the buttonhole foot. Now, Bernina has a automatic buttonhole, which means you tell it what size you want it to do, and then the machine kind of just does it for you. So if you're into apparel, have to put in lots of buttons, you'll never go back after you have a Bernina buttonhole. Absolutely love this foot, love the features in it. That really sums up the accessories as far as the feet go. So let's move on to what else is in the little kind of bag of tricks here. So I'm going to go ahead and move these feet aside here. I'm going to just put them right there for a second. Let's kind of go into the little bag of tricks here. As far as the bag of tricks, there's not a ton of things here. You have 4 extra Bernina jumbo bobbins, which we're going to get into. A tiny, 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 tiny flathead screwdriver. This is to adjust the tension on your bobbin case if you ever had to. It's not for anything else on the sewing machine. That's all that's for, okay? We got 2, 3, it looks like, different spool caps, small, medium, and a large. Most machines only come with 1 or 2, so it's nice that we have this itty bitty one, mid-size, and your large size there. You also have the styrofoam here. This is so that you put a spool of thread on top of this. It helps with them spinning out of control or anything like that. It's just a nice cushion pad for it. They work very well. Now, brush to keep things clean. Bernina always includes the Bernina seam ripper as well, which is that's thoughtful. I mean, it's even got the Bernina logo. I'll show that to you guys here. It even has the Bernina logo right on it. So like, I mean, it's thoughtful that they thought that. Let's all be honest here. We've all had to unstitch something in the last 24 hours. So it's great that they have that. Now these are 2 items that people don't really know about, or that they see them and they're like, what is that for? So this little guy here has 3 separate pieces that move individually from each other. Now this is when you are starting a seam and your foot is higher up, or it's kind of like bent backwards or anything like that. You can then stuff this on the back side of your foot and raise that foot so it's sewing level. Sewing machines with bent feet and all that just tend to break needles. The only time I really find I use this, let's say I'm doing like a hem on some jeans or something like that, and I'm starting my first couple stitches, I normally throw this up underneath the foot to make sure that it stitches properly. That's what that little piece is for, and it's thoughtful that Bernina is including seam ripper and this little gauge here. Last thing that is in the bag of tricks here. So this is Bernina sewing machine oil. That means it's graded for sewing machines. It's one of the best on the market as far as oils go for machines. It also says on it to refer to your owner's manual on where you should be oiling your Bernina. I'm going to go over a little bit of the oiling process with you today, but I'm glad that they include that. And that right there, that's probably a 3 to 5 years worth of oil for this machine. So absolutely awesome that they include that in the box. These are just kind of more of honorable mentions. Pack of needles. Use whatever brand that you like. Bernina has a branded needle. Smets, I've come to find, work just as well. And then this is some Metler thread that comes in with Bernina. Again, branded with Bernina. So obviously they've got some kind of relationship with these companies that they put them in the box. So that right there is essentially the accessories that are going to come in the box. Now, I'm going to just do a quick cleanup here, and then we'll go over the last couple of things that come in the box before we get into the actual machine itself. Now, the next things here, I think that this is pretty cool because not very many manufacturers include something like this in their box. And not only that, this is considered to be like a midline machine for Bernina. And the fact that they just include this in pretty much everything that they do just shows that how great of a company this really is here. This is called, a lot of people call them a Barbie box, what most people call them. It's your actual storage container. Let me open that up. Protective styrofoam sheeting here for this, which is very nice that they've, I mean, this is just thoughtful. They make sure that the product gets to you safely and secure. Now let me pull this open. Now, what is a Barbie box? Let me pull that out all the way. So essentially what this little box here is a storage caddy for everything I just talked about in the last couple of minutes here. Right here, you can put your feet in, you can put your bobbins in, you can put all your accessories in, everything kind of compactly right inside of this thing. And not only that, you got little drawers. I mean, it comes with everything that you really need to store the basics of what you're going to have. Not only that, right there, those are needle storage, so you can put your needles in there. I mean, they really thought about it when they came out with this little box here. Now, this is a feature that most Bernina owners don't even know, is that this box, if you look on the back here, has 2 magnets. And I get questions all the time about this, like, why would they build a machine that had a box that had magnets on it? And it's because this has been designed and done to perfectly match your sewing machine. Same color, same tone, same everything like that. But I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'm gonna pull this guy off. I'm gonna turn this sewing machine around here. So, you see that this is contoured right across here. And you'll notice that this box has the same contour. When you put this down into place, let me see here. It magnetizes onto the back of your sewing machine. That way, it never really falls off of the machine and it's always with it, so you never really have to worry about, where's my stuff? Do I have a separate bag for that? All those kinds of things. It also has a hand cut out here in the back. That way when you grab onto it, you can pull this guy straight off. And not hard to put on. You lift up the handle, lay it down. You can hear the magnets clipping, listen. Right? And there you go. Bernina thought about this, built this to match their machines, which, again, super fan of that. And I'm going to go ahead and set these things aside here and we'll go over the last little things in the box. Now, knee lift. I've gone over this a couple of times in some of our other videos. Absolutely love a knee lift. Essentially what it is a free hand system. That way you don't ever have to reach back to the machine to lower and raise your presser foot. So the last things in the box here, which are very important here. This right here tells you everything about your warranty of your machine. What's included, what's not included. So absolutely love that. Second thing that I absolutely love is that Bernina has one of the best resources for accessories. They have a cajillion accessories for every kind of project that you're doing. So it's nice to have a flip through book of everything that Bernina makes. And it's physical. This is a book, it's real, it's not on the internet or anything like that. So it's nice just to have a flip through guide of like, oh, I wonder what this is or what that is. Just really nice in my opinion. Lastly guys, is the Bernina user manual. Again, everything's hard copy for them. This is a book. If you're going to buy a nice sewing machine, read the really nice book that they provide for you, because it will teach you so much about it that you just probably don't know. And if you own a really nice machine, pull out your user manual, read it, see what you're missing, because there's a lot of things I guarantee that you are missing about your machine. So make sure that you look at that. One last thing is, and I'm not going to show it on camera here, Bernina has warranty cards for every one of their machines that have to be sent in, or you can do them electronically. Make sure those are filled out, or else that warranty that we're talking about doesn't actually apply. So make sure, and that goes with pretty much any brand of sewing machine, make sure you fill out the warranty cards. That way if anything ever did go wrong, you have your warranty there to back you up. So now let's get the very first look at the Bernina 480. Now, something that you have to know about Berninas is that Berninas take a second to load. You've got one heck of a computer system inside these machines, which gives you automatic tensions and all these amazing features, but they do take a second to load. It's just part of the system here with Bernina. Normally it's about 30-ish seconds, okay? When the light comes on, that's when everything else is on here as well. Now, as far as the sewing machine itself goes, let's just go over some of the key features. So feature number one is that from the center of your needle to the edge of your sewing machine is 7 inches. So not crazy amount of space, but for your everyday piecing, absolutely more than enough. Not only that, something that is worth mentioning is that your bobbin and your bobbin case is about 2.5 times the traditional size. Way less bobbin refills now because you can just get more per bobbin, which is absolutely phenomenal that we have this. And the bobbins themselves, guys, big fan of them. Absolutely, there's a reason why they call them the jumbo bobbins, because they're just absolutely huge here. So the Bernina 480 has about 8 different LED lights here. That's why there's so much light underneath the sewing machine, which is nice. I mean, that's just really, really nice to have. Not only that, this machine will go 900 stitches per minute. Most people can't sew accurately at that speed, but it can. Okay, it just can do that. You have the ability to have a 9mm zigzag or 9mm width on your stitches, along with a 6mm stitch length, which is very, very nice to have in a machine this size. Not only that, the total number of stitches that are inside of this machine is 994 stitches, and that includes, you know, regular stitches, decorative stitches, utility stitches, all inclusive right there inside the machine. So a couple of things about the screen itself, and a couple of worth mentioning things. Everything on here is super easy to use. The interface is really built to be as easy as sewing can be. Not only that, if you see the little question mark, which is on the machine right here, if you click on the question mark and click anywhere else on the screen, it will tell you what that feature is. So you don't have to jump back to the manual every time to know kind of how to work it. You can just click the question mark, click the stitch or the icon, and it will just tell you what that is, which I absolutely love. Not only that, since Bernina has the computer system to do this, it has automatic tension, meaning when we go to change our stitch length or our stitch width, it's automatically going to recognize how much tension each stitch needs, and it will change on a stitch to stitch basis, which is absolutely phenomenal. Not only that, we have micro adjustments here, because we can change our stitch length and stitch width pretty much anywhere from 0 to 9 millimeters if it's stitch width, or 0 to 6 millimeter if it's stitch length, and all the numbers that you could possibly need in between, which is nice that they allow us to adjust that accurately. Next thing is right here on the side of the machine, we have our presser foot pressure, and it's a manual thing. So I can twist this, you can hear the clicks, and adjust how much pressure I'm putting down on the fabric. Why is this so important? If you're doing something outside of cotton or just traditional sewing material, you may have to adjust this. For instance, denim would be one of those ones. You don't want a ton of pressure on denim, so you can just loosen it up a little bit, or if you have like silks or things like that, you might want to add a little bit more pressure. This gives you that option. Now, a couple more things about the interface is if you click on the files, it will open up more files for you to look at. For instance, if we click on decorative stitching, it'll give us lots of different options for our decorative stitch. Same with utility stitches, same with your buttonhole as well. So I love how it has all the features that you possibly need and gives you the information when we kind of forgot how to do it or why we need that particular stitch. Not only that, anything in yellow on a Bernina, so if you see it on the screen and it's yellow, it means something has changed. If you click on anything that's yellow and click the yellow whateverness it may be, it will automatically revert back to factory setting. That way you never have to wonder like, did I change my stitches? Did I not change my stitches? If you have, it's going to be yellow. If you want to change it back, just click anything that's yellow and it will go back to the original factory settings. Now, Berninas are traditional machines, mechanical machines, hardy machines. The presser foot, let me throw one on here. It's a traditional presser foot. You have to move the lever in the back for it to go up and down. It's just what it is on Berninas. But it doesn't mean we have upgraded features in this. For instance, we have start and stop controls. We have our scissor button, which will cut all of our threads. So we have all the updated features of a modern machine. However, Bernina kind of stays true to what they are. They have been around forever. It was just recently that they just hit their 125th anniversary. And it's still owned by the same family. So it's never been resold. The values have never changed. This is still the all Bernina metal kind of machines. Now, I understand too that since I'm here showing you a machine, it's like, yeah, Teancum, you can say a lot about machines, talk about them, but how do you prove these things? So what I'm going to do is going to pull off a couple of pieces here that will help better show what I'm talking about. So I'm going to pull off the back cover and the front cover, just so people can see the electronics that these machines have. Not only will you be able to see the electronics, but you'll also be able to see the Bernina ways of how they've always kind of done things. So got that screw out, gonna pull out this screw. And before anyone wonders, I'm a certified technician of Bernina, meaning that I can work on any Bernina that they've made or ever made. So let me turn this off so we can move things around. Okay, so I've taken out a couple of screws here. Now, the very first thing that normally comes off on a Bernina, let me just double check to make sure I'm not pulling things off wrong, is this guy right here. Now, you have to realize that on a machine like this, it's designed for technicians to open them. I see so many times that someone brings in a Bernina and they're like, my husband wanted to be a mechanic, or I thought I could be a mechanic, and they break things and they do all that kind of stuff. So I'm just forewarning everyone that it doesn't have to be that way. Hand wheels pop off. And also, guys, a big thing here is that these machines on the insides aren't just supposed to be handled, okay? Make sure that if you have something wrong, take it to a local dealer. That way you don't have potential problems in the future. So guys, taking off the faceplate here. Now I'm going to pull this guy off. Kind of have to finagle these out a little bit. And don't worry, sounds of plastic, of like, it's just them moving around. So just got that guy off. Now it's time to work on the back of the machine here. I've already taken off the hand wheel as well. Now, again, you need 5 different tools to open these things here. So it's not really recommended for the public to do it. So I just want to make sure that's clear. So, front of the machine. Now let's look at the actual machine itself. And you guys have to just appreciate Bernina for what they can accomplish here. Now, look how much metal is inside this machine. Pretty much everything that is important, that takes a lot of strain or a lot of heavy lifting, full metal, which is awesome. Not only that, let me pull this guy out here. Even down to the thread cutter is full metal, which Bernina could have cheaped out if they wanted to. They could have put it in a plastic thread cutter, they could have put in some plastic pieces here, and they didn't. So this guy right here, people say, oh, well, that's plastic. You have to look on the other side of it to understand a lot of these things. Is that if you want something to fail, just because you're putting too much pressure on it, you want it to be something that you can get to. This is a very easy part to get to, nothing hard there. But if I flip it over to the other side and let you show you the insides of the machine, let me have you look right inside there. Inside of this gear is all metal. So it just has a sleeve over the top of it that's made out of plastic. It's very well thought out. Everything is put onto the machine and not just a million different wires and parts. Motherboard's all right here, makes that easy to work with. If I flip it around the other side, your motor's right here, easy to get to. It's kind of this open shell, essentially, that when you open it up, everything's there. You don't have to go looking, you don't have to go try to find it. They're not cramming things into really small spaces. They took their time to engineer a well-made machine. Not only that, this is opinion now at this point, is that there are a lot of parts that you could have changed out. This guy right here has a all-metal stepping motor, which is right behind it, hooked up to this little piece of plastic. They could have just went all plastic. They didn't. They went metal to a plastic bushing. That way if the bushing ever failed or this gear system ever failed, it's easy to replace. It's one screw, you pop it out, you put it right back in. Very, very meticulously thought out, this machine here. Not only that, my last kind of little thing before I close up the machine is that people always say, like, well, you know, they didn't build them like they used to, this, that, and the other. That's 100% true. We have more electronics, more plastics, and more of those kinds of things than ever before. However, this company has not lost its core values over the years. They're still built off metal frames. They are still designed by the same kind of people. Not only that, it's still the family legacy for the Bernina company. So, in my opinion, well-built machine. Is it 100% metal? No. However, anything that's really important is. So we have to keep that in mind of, you want fancy stitches and you want thread cutters and you want this and you want that, something has to give. That way, you know, if something ever did happen, it's easy to fix. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this whole thing back together. We're going to do some stitches and then let's see kind of how it sews. So guys, next thing now is to thread the machine up. We've already looked at the insides, we've already gone over what's in the box. Let's see how this machine sews. Someone in the comments gonna be like, he can thread a machine backwards? Done this way too long. Really what that comes down to. So guys, now everyone knows Bernina to be a phenomenal quality machine. They have the name that goes with it and all that. But let's just do this. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 layers of fabric. Now I have 16 layers of fabric. We're going to just put that right underneath here, just to show you the kind of the Bernina quality stitch here. So I'm on probably a straight stitch. I mean, not even any kind of resistance from this. Now let's speed this guy up. Heel click will cut my thread. Nice little feature of Bernina's. This is actually programmed to do needle up and down as the heel click, which is nice. But let's look at the actual stitches themselves. Absolutely beautiful of a stitch. No kind of puckering, no kind of pulling, nothing like that on the stitch. So let's go just a little bit thicker, see what it can do. Let's see here. Obviously I'm sewing backwards here so you guys can get a better view of the machine. So that would be 32 layers of batik fabric here. You can't even tell the difference in reality. So absolutely stunning quality here. If it can do this, it can sew through pretty much anything that you throw at it. Now again, there is limitations to any kind of sewing machine. Don't go out sewing 1/2-inch leather on this machine. But the fact that it can do a beautiful, straight out the box, nothing done to it, 16 layer straight stitch, just goes to show how awesome a machine this is. And then to do 32 layers, even better. Now, the one thing that people are going to be asking in the comments is, what about zigzag? Zigzags show a lot of different things. So let's get that back underneath the needle. I'm going to move this to a zigzag and let's see how a 32 layer zigzag looks like. Now this zigzag is only about that big, so let's change that to a thicker zigzag. That way it's easier to see. So let me pull this out for you. Now look at this, guys. Now the back side, we've got a couple extra strands there. You can't see the yellow from the top and you can't see the green from the bottom. That is a absolutely stellar stitch, and that's because Bernina has automated tension. Every stitch that it's making, it's adjusting, it's making decisions and making the best quality stitch hands down every single time. So let's talk a little bit about the pricing then of this machine. This machine, normal retail value, $3,149 as of today. That's what you go in, that's what it's going to cost. Now, there's a difference between retail value and like street value, what you can actually get them for. I think $3,149 is well worth the machine. I'm also a bargain buyer, so you have to understand that about me. Realistically speaking, I think you should be able to pick up this machine for $2,800, depending on your territory, maybe even $2,600. But that's on a territory to territory basis. If you live in a state that normally costs more, expect that the machine is going to cost a little bit more there. But you for sure are going to be able to get it for a couple $100 less than retail value. The biggest thing is just ask. You know, it never hurts asking your dealers and say, hey, like, is there any promotions going on? Is there anything else that you can sweeten the deal with? And generally speaking, they will work with you. If they won't though, check out the links below. We have lots of different informational videos on these, and if you have any questions about the machines, give us a call. We're happy to help you, especially if you have a dealership that you need a little extra help with. So, as far as value goes, $3,149, I think it's well worth that. I also think that you can pick it up for a hair less. Now, I'm a big fan of the machine. I would give this the Sew Yeah approval sticker for sure. And I really don't have anything bad to say about the machine. The only thing that I did not go over about this machine is the oiling of the machine. Now, the reason why I didn't do that is, guys, later on in this video series, we're going to do a whole video on where to oil Berninas because they're about the same on every single model. So stay tuned for that. Lastly, guys, if you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're new, And why don't you hit the notification bell? It's free to do, and if you like the content, then you might as well get reminded that it comes out. Again, guys, if there's anything that you need, we're happy to help you out. And this is the hard thing about the position that we're in, especially because we talked about this in the last video, is that we are a retail store, SewYaQuilting.com. I don't want this video series to be like you think we're trying to sell you a sewing machine. This is way more so that you can feel comfortable about your next sewing machine, so you can have a wonderful unboxing experience. Now, if you have any machine questions about the Bernina 480, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section, and we ask that the community of sewers help answer those questions so that it's not coming from someone who sells the machine. So as far as the machine goes, guys, I think it's a killer machine, has the right value, has the right features for this style of machine. Thank you so much for watching, and we're going to catch you on the next unboxing experience. See ya.